Welcome to the Boschcast with James Boschman and Denise Young, where we talk about Manitoba real estate and everything else that's on our minds. And we're live.
Hi.
Episode 2 of the Boschcast. Thank you so much to everyone who took the time out of their day to listen to our first episode and either listen to it on audio or watch it on YouTube. Due to the quality, the video quality and everything wasn't super great on episode 1, but it was a trial run, and really stoked at the amount of views that we got, just over 130 views, which is pretty phenomenal for first episode. Wasn't expecting that, so thank you to everybody who tuned in. We have decided to do a significant upgrade to our streaming platform. We've upgraded to StreamYard, which is pretty sweet. There's a lot of options available. It's definitely a lot more user-friendly than Google Meet or Zoom. And I figured if we're going to do this long-term, that it would be good to invest in a good streaming platform. And we can do fun stuff like this.
Yeah.
And we can live stream as well. Obviously we're not live streaming this, but in the future, if we have guests on, we can set it up with our social media accounts and YouTube and stuff like that, and live stream, which I think would be super fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, a lot of great comments from people. I had people reaching out saying that we did a good job and everything, and but people did comment on the quality of the picture quality. Every time we would say a word or make a sound, it would switch back and forth. So at least here we are, you get to see both of our beautiful smiling faces, and you don't have to cringe by listening to or watching the Google Meet version.
Back and forth.
Yeah. So yeah, excited to do the second episode today, and we have a lot of really cool, fun things to talk about. So with that being said, let's talk about it. If anybody knows me, you should know that I love tacos. And if there's any taco companies out there, restaurants, and you want to sponsor, hey, I'll eat your tacos. I'll eat them on air. I'll eat them in the video. You'll hear me crunching away. Yeah, you could lure me into a cage with some carnitas tacos. That is for sure. But no, in all seriousness, we do have some really cool things to talk about today, and real estate related stuff, but also wanted to talk about technology. We've upgraded our podcast tools, and I love it when technology actually works for us in our favor. As realtors, we get absolutely annihilated by and bombarded with 1-800 number calls and emails from tech companies and apps, and all these people that are trying to solicit our services for using their latest and greatest app, or for real estate or whatever. And I used to give these people the time of day. If anytime I got a phone call, I'd pick up the phone. Hey, how's it going? Oh, you want to make me number one on Google? Okay, perfect. How do I do that? I want to do that. I was so gullible, but now I don't have the time for it. I don't have the time to entertain these people. And it's actually, I think it's better to put them down quickly, instead of letting them bleed out over the phone with their sales pitch. And so now I will resort to, if I get unsolicited call or something, I will resort to like death metal screaming on the other line, or putting my phone under a pot lid and banging it, bang, 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 or sex noises or whatever, like whatever I feel is super cringe. And sometimes I'll actually try to like sell them on something, like I'll try to sell them a listing or something like that, even though they're probably not interested. But
Probably not in Manitoba.
no, probably not even in the country.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I feel like if you have to try that hard to sell me on your app or your service or your product or your technology, like it's probably it's either a scam or it's the biggest piece of crap, out there. And but it is actually nice when technology works in your favor. Like this platform is really cool, StreamYard platform. We're part of this amazing cloud-based real estate brokerage, EXP, which super tech forward, savvy company, really thinking outside the box and disrupting the industry, which is really cool. And one of my goals in joining this brokerage is I really want to become more tech savvy myself. And I really like it when apps and technology really work well in your favor. I always try to stay ahead of the curve that way and stuff like that. But when you come across tech in our industry that actually works well, makes our lives,
Tracker.
yeah, it makes our lives so much easier. Yeah, Fin Tracker, such a great example. But there's an app that I came across like years ago, pre-COVID, and used it a handful of times, and recently just referred a client to use it. It's called On the Step, and it's an app that was created by these two guys at the University of Manitoba, and they partnered with a refugee new immigrant service or nonprofit that partner with like new to Canada immigrants and try to get them out into the workforce and get them like doing physical labor jobs or whatever. And this On the Step app is kind of like the Uber for snow shoveling, or now they have lawn care services. So, a few weeks ago, I have this client. He owns a bunch of single family rental properties, like bungalows, in the city.
Mm-hmm.
And one of his properties, the tenants did a midnight move, so they moved out. And he has a professional property management company, but they don't take care of. He doesn't pay them to take care of like snow clearing or lawn care, stuff like that. Usually, he will do it himself, or the tenants will do it, and then he'll just kind of take some money off of their rent or whatever for them doing that type of stuff, like the maintenance work. But he was on holidays. He was sitting on a beach somewhere, and he was looking for someone to help shovel out the property because they were getting some tradespeople in there to do a clean out and like do all the touch ups after the tenants moved out and left a big mess. And so he remembered that I had told him about this On the Step app. So he sent me a message and he was like, "Oh man, this app is so slick. Like, I can't believe I haven't used this before." But it's really great. And so you can download the app and you create like a profile, and then it'll ask for a picture of what your driveway looks like. But what you can do, and what he did sitting on the beach, is he took like a Google Maps close up of his house, like the satellite view, and you could clearly see like how big his driveway is and stuff like that, and the parking pad. And then he uploaded that picture into his profile. And then what you do is you link your credit card to it, and then you can set an amount. You create a job, and then you set an amount. So if it's like $50, $60, whatever you think it's worth for somebody to come out and shovel, or what you would pay somebody to do that, And then, if you put too little value, then you'll know because nobody will pick up the job.
Right.
But you might actually get somebody that sends you a message through it and says, hey, I would do it for $50, but not 30,
Mm-hmm.
you can kind of like go back and forth. But once your job is accepted, it'll say like a stepper has accepted your job. And then it'll say like they're on their way. And then once they get to your property, they usually take a picture of before, and then they'll upload it, and we'll send you a notification like the stepper has arrived, the stepper has uploaded photos of your driveway or whatever. And then the stepper is working, and then once the job is done, they have to take after photos as well, and then those get uploaded. You get another notification that they're done,
Mm-hmm.
and then it will prompt you for a tip. So if you want to give them a tip, whatever. But yeah, he was like sitting on a beach in Mexico, and you can put in multiple properties. So if you're a landlord, or if you have rentals, like you can use that and send out multiple jobs if you want. And now they have it for lawn care as well. So
That's awesome.
super slick, even for like elderly people, like they don't have to go out and break their back or fall and break their hip or whatever. You just like, it's pretty easy to use. Like any elderly person should be able to figure it out pretty quick. But yeah, so that's an example of like tech in our industry that works really well. And yeah, I just, like companies like Amazon, Uber, Skip the Dishes, like these are companies that they have like changed the trajectory of our world. They're like the companies that come in and they disrupt so much that it's like a turning point in our lives. Like I can't imagine what life would be like now if we still had to go to Blockbuster, like rent movies. Sometimes like I think that would be, every once in a while it's like, oh yeah, I wish there was a Blockbuster for date night every once in a while, because that was super fun. But like late fees and shit like that.
That part wasn't fun.
Oh, that part wasn't fun. Or if you get blamed for like scratching it,
Right.
DVD or something like that or whatever, but like, these companies are, they've like taken over, whether you agree with it or not. They have revolutionized our world,
Mm-hmm.
and they've made things easier. Like we all live in this like rat race society now, and we all have like ADD because everything that we look at online is like instant gratification, you know? And like we can't wait for anything anymore. And a perfect example of how technology, like, in Winnipeg, in our lives recently has, made things better is, Tara and I, after Christmas, like between Christmas and New Year's kind of thing, we went like Boxing Week shopping, just to get
Mm-hmm.
clothes and stuff from the mall. And we were out and about, and Tara's like, I really want to find this book. Uh, it's a book by Gabor Mate, and it's like his new book or whatever. And let's go to Chapters. So Chapters, freaking huge store, right? Like a massive retail store, bookstore.
Yeah.
And we like walk in, we're thinking, okay, it's a relatively new release book. They're probably going to have it. There's no way they don't have it. So, and he's a big author, like best-selling author, psychologist, all that kind of stuff. So we go in, there's like 4 tables, new release tables, and then there's like a whole section for new release. We go over there, can't see it anywhere. And of course, nobody's working. There's like 3 people working in the entire, it's like 2 floors with a freaking escalator in the middle. There's like nobody around. And
Yeah.
then, so first of all, when you walk into Chapters, you got books in front of you, but then it's like pillows and like charcuterie boards and like cocktail serving stuff and like everything except books. And somebody, finally like an employee comes and we like flagged her down. We're like, hey, do you have this book by Gabor Mate? It's a new release. Oh yeah, we have tons of copies. Oh, okay, where are they? Oh, they're downstairs, in the back by the blah 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 section. So anyways, we go over there, nothing. It's nowhere to be found. So we're like, okay, so now we're gonna waste like 30 minutes trying to scour the earth for this book in this building. And like then another employee comes. Can I help you guys with anything? It's like, yeah, we're looking for this book. And she's like, yeah, I think we're all out. I don't think we have any copies left. I'm like, but you're a bookstore, right? And she's like, yeah, sorry. And like, she caught me glancing over at these throw pillows. And she's like, but we have throw pillows. Like, we have these beautiful pillows. I'm like, are you a bookstore or is this Bed Bath and Beyond? Is this Canadian Tire? Like, is it like, no, it's no, sir. Sorry, we don't have that book, but here's a snowblower. Like, so we were like so disappointed that we wanted to like, we're in this bookstore, giant store. And it's like, we just want this book. Like you said you had it. Now you don't have it. And it's like, oh, sorry, we have one copy and it's across the city at another store. Right. So I'm like, okay, we're not going to waste hours tracking down this book. What are we going to do? We're going to go home. We're going to buy it in 2 minutes on Amazon. And sure enough, 2 days later, the box was on our front step. There's the book, right? So companies need to learn how to adapt or die, because that chapters, if they don't, Amazon's going to get their business and then they're going to turn into a frickin', Bed Bath and Beyond or Canadian Tire, or they're going to close their doors, right?
Yeah, you see it a lot with Best Buy, right? Like they never
Correct.
have actual stock.
Exactly.
It's always
Like,
online only, online only.
yeah, like the shelves are like empty. There's like 2 employees in there. Like, it's really sad. I mean, I miss the good old days of like, getting up at 3 in the morning, going and standing in line on Boxing Day at Future Shop, and like getting my little laptop or whatever, and like talking to the guys that are there at midnight, sleeping in a tent, waiting for the
Mhm.
doors to open, and literally people fighting each other to get in. Like those are the good old days. But the reality is that those days are gone,
Yeah,
and we live in this totally different time now. And technology is advancing and innovating at such a rapid pace that, it seems like yesterday when I was on the bus going to school, and I had my CD Discman with my wired headphones, and I had my giant pack of CDs. It was like the CD Bible,
yeah,
and and then it was like iPods, and then iPod Shuffle, and then you know now everything is right here, right? Like, our whole lives is right here.
yeah,
Any question that we have, any answer that we need, all we have to do is pull the phone out of our pocket. This is like our third brain now, right? Like, our people are saying like our real brain is actually like our gut, our microbiome in our gut. Our second brain is like our brain, like our head brain. And then the third brain is like this, which I think is actually taking over the job of our brain.
yeah, for sure.
Like, what is the point if you're a kid now? What's the point of learning math, or what's the point of learning history, or what's the point of any of that in school? Like, when you have this.
Hmm.
And now, like, we're at the precipice of like a fourth industrial revolution, we are literally at the door of sentient artificial intelligence. And people have probably heard, everybody listening to this, you've probably heard of Chat GPT. Now, this is an example of technology that works, but it's scary as shit because of how, you know, I feel like this is it. Like, we are pretty soon, we will be fully integrated with our technology. We won't even need to pick up the phone anymore. We'll have the neural link inserted into our minds, and we won't need to use language anymore. We'll just communicate using telepathy. And, um, and then there will be like this turning point again, where it's like, we are, we've totally integrated with artificial intelligence. And, I mean, I would love to be like a Terminator realtor.
Yeah.
Can you imagine like selling houses to Terminator families and, instead of get to the chopper, it's get to my open house. Or get to the offer.
There you go.
Yeah. But this Chat GPT thing, it's there's a lot of people in the real estate industry that are talking about, like, people are scared to death of this thing because the fourth industrial revolution is essentially like, there will come a point where AI will completely revolutionize everything, so much so that we're going to be losing jobs. Like, I mean, we already are, I think, losing a lot of jobs. Like, when you go to McDonald's and you're in the lobby of McDonald's, what do you see now? You see like one or two cashiers, usually one, right? And then you have people that are like
often none.
often none.
Yeah.
And instead you have giant iPads, right? And everybody's encouraged to like order your food on the iPad, get your number, and then somebody will give you your food. They'll call your number, right?
Right.
One of those iPads probably took the job of 2 or 3 people. And so that's a very like small scale example. But now there's Chat GPT. And Chat GPT, it was developed by this company called OpenAI, which essentially created like a language AI. And I was doing a bunch of research in this thing, and I've been playing around with it, and it's scary, but I tell you, it's going to make our jobs a lot easier, I think, when it comes to things like writing real estate descriptions. I mean, I consider myself to be like kind of a wordsmith when it comes to real estate descriptions. I love writing them, but I find myself using the same words over and over again, like boasting, ample, natural light,
Yeah.
spacious. Yeah. But boasting and ample are pretty common.
Mhm.
So basically, this thing is, you if you type in Chat GPT, it'll take you to the website. You create like a little login. You put your email in there. It asks for all your contact information, and then it's free to use because OpenAI is testing this program right now. They're trying to collect as much data as possible so that it will self-learn. And essentially what you can do is you can create dialogue with it. You can ask it anything. You can ask it the most complicated question. If you're a coder and you're trying to like figure out some like crazy advanced code, you could ask it to solve that and basically create code for you. You can
Wow.
ask it to solve problems, and this is where things get a little freaky because they claim that there's no chance that this AI will become sentient. But I decided to try it out. And I asked it a series of questions, which I would like to review and read to our listeners. So I know it's going to really help us write our listing descriptions. But I asked it, are you sentient? And it said, I am a machine learning model, which means I can process and respond to text-based inputs. I'm not conscious, I would say that, self-aware, or sentient in the way that humans are. I do not have thoughts, feelings, or experiences, and I do not possess any sort of subjective experience. What I can do is process large amounts of data and use that information to generate human-like responses to text-based inputs. My responses are based on patterns in the idea that I've been trained on, but I do not have the ability to experience or understand the world in the way that you do. It's important to remember that I'm only a program. Yeah, you would say that. And I do not have the capacity for consciousness or even senses. If you have any doubts, please let me know. What? So, and then I asked it if we're living in a simulation, and it said that it's quite likely that we are. So that's freaking me out. But then I'm like, okay, I'm going down the rabbit hole here. I don't want to get too dark with this thing. So I asked it, do you think real estate agents are valuable? It said, as a machine learning model, I don't have personal opinions or beliefs. However, I can tell you that real estate agents can provide value for people looking to buy or sell property. Realtors are professionals who are licensed and trained to help people navigate the market. They have knowledge of the local area and market conditions and can provide important information and advice to buyers and sellers. For example, they can help buyers find properties that meet their needs and budget and help sellers market and show their properties to potential buyers. And then it goes on and on. Like, you can ask it a question, and within 5 seconds, it'll have paragraphs. Boom, 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 boom. So this thing is going to take over. Like, if you're an editor, you're done. Like, say goodbye to your job.
Right.
Chat GPT. There's a new game in town here. If you're searching, like, this thing, I think is going to swallow Google, or they're going to sell this to Google, because Google's got the data, and like, I mean, it's probably pulling all of that data from Google anyways. And then I asked it to write me a real estate description. So I said, and I got some. This is really good, actually. So I said, write a real estate description for a 2,100 square foot 2-story home with 5 bedrooms and a fully finished basement. Within 2 seconds, this is what it said. This spacious 2-story home boasts 2,100 square feet of living space, making it the perfect place for a growing family. The home features 5 bedrooms, providing ample room. So there's 2 of my words in there already. Ample hosting. Ample room for everyone to have their own space. The bedrooms are well appointed with plenty of room for storage and comfortable bedding. Okay, that would have to change. The upstairs of the home features a large family room, perfect for movie nights or game nights. The main floor of the home is perfect for entertaining guests, with a large and open living room, formal dining, spacious kitchen. The kitchen features modern appliances, ample counter space, perfect for meal prep and hosting dinner parties. The fully finished basement provides even more living space with the potential for a game room, home office, or a gym. The backyard is great for summer barbecues and relaxing in the sun. This home has everything you need. Make it your dream home. Damn. Pretty
That
wild.
was very similar to my experience with Canva's AI.
Yeah.
I had asked it to write a description for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath bungalow, brand new built in Dugald, since we have some of those.
Yeah.
And it says, this beautiful 3-bedroom, 2-bath bungalow is situated in the peaceful community of Dugald. It was recently built and features a spacious living area with modern kitchen, 2 full bathrooms, and 3 inviting bedrooms. The large backyard has plenty of space for outdoor activities. The property also features a double garage. Oh yeah, I did say with a double garage. It features a double garage with plenty of extra storage space. This home is perfect for anyone looking for an idyllic place to settle down and enjoy a peaceful lifestyle.
Geez, this AI stuff it's coming for our jobs here, Denise.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're gonna do here.
Well, I mean, it might be able to do part of it, but I don't know. I have a story coming up that might remind you that we still will have value.
I got a few more. So I decided to switch it up, and I said, write me a real estate description for a 2,100 square foot 2-story home with 5 bedrooms and a fully finished basement, but from the perspective of a Viking. So then it said,
oh my God, I shouldn't have been drinking.
Then it said, this grand 2-story longhouse boasts 2,100 square feet of living space, perfect for a fierce Viking clan. The home features 5 bedrooms, providing ample room for each warrior to lay their weary head after a day of pillaging and conquest.
Oh my God.
The bedrooms are appointed with sturdy wooden furnishings and plenty of room for storing treasures and weapons. The upstairs of the home features a large mead hall, perfect for feasting and telling tales of battle. The main floor of the home is built for entertaining, with a large and open great room for hosting feasts, formal dining area for sharing a meal with a fellow warrior, and a spacious kitchen for preparing your hearty meals. The kitchen features a large hearth for cooking as well as ample counter space for mead making. Fully finished basement is accessed by a rugged staircase. It provides even more living space with the potential for training room for battle tactics or a trophy room for displaying your spoils of war. The backyard features a large fire pit for outdoor feasts and storytelling under the stars. This home has everything a Viking needs to make it their stronghold. And then I do have a couple more. I have one from the perspective of Trump.
Oh, geez.
Which is hilarious. Perspective of Shakespeare. And the perspective of the house itself.
Oh, geez.
This is my favorite one. And I was actually thinking it would be super funny to do this if we have a seller that would allow us to do this. But greetings. I am the humble abode you seek. I offer 1,000 square feet of living space, well portioned among 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. My main floor is well appointed with a warm and inviting living room, a functional kitchen, and 3 cozy bedrooms. The master even has luxury of its own with a private bathroom. But do not be fooled by my exterior, for I also offer a fully finished basement that extends my living space to accommodate your every need. Whether it be a playroom for the young ones, a home office for yourself, or a cozy den for movie nights. I am also situated on a well-manicured lot with ample outdoor space for enjoying the natural surroundings. And I am in a prime location with easy access to all the amenities you require. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that is.
So
it does seem to use ample a lot, actually.
Yeah, I know. Like, you could probably type in like sounds good, but use words synonymous with ample.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Trump one is cool too. This is a beautiful bungalow, folks. Just a tremendous property. All top of the line, just like the hotels I build. The main floor is fantastic. Huge living room, fantastic kitchen, 3 bedrooms. It's just huge. But let me tell you, folks, the basement is where it's at. It's fully finished, just like my hotels. You'll have so much room down there, you won't even know what to do with it. It's perfect for a game room, home theater, or even a little casino. You'll just love it. Oh, it just keeps going on and on. Like, it's the greatest thing ever. The greatest and the scariest thing ever. But yeah, so it's basically a conversational style chat bot, but it pulls data from all over the internet. And it says on their website that it's not smart enough to replace humans yet.
Yet, that's the word.
But, you know, it can be really creative, and, you know, help us to think outside the box. If we ever get like writer's block or whatever from writing real estate descriptions or coming up with ideas for stuff, I'm sure that we could get really creative with it.
Yeah,
Um,
I felt like it was a little like generic, but
yeah,
I thought like, oh, there's a good start. Like it would get me started.
yeah, yeah. Like
Right?
sometimes if you have a brain fart or like
Yeah.
super hungover or something, and you're like, oh damn it, I gotta write this freaking
Or
real
you're
estate
so
description.
busy sometimes that it's
Yeah,
just hard to get your thoughts together, right? Like
yeah,
you've got so many other things to do. You have like two people waiting for you to write an offer to send them to sign, and you got
yeah,
showings coming up, and you have to get this listing in. So
yeah.
I think it would be a good place to start.
So yeah, I'm not sure where all this AI is gonna go.
Hmm.
I'm here for it. As long as I can be a Terminator and like somehow like save my head, but like in a glass case, like on Futurama with the floating heads in the glass case, and just put my head on like a body, like a mechanical Terminator body. Hey, I'll be selling like it's going out of style. But nothing can compare to the human experience. Nothing can compare to our smiling faces and, you know, our warm glow. And yeah, I just don't think that anything, especially in real estate, like there are so many companies out there that offer, I mean, and you can touch on this too with your story, but like we've seen in our industry these like mere posting service companies where you pay a fee and they'll advertise your house for you on MLS, but you're basically relying on their technology to sell your house. In the States, it's more prominent than it is here. They had like iBuyer programs and like all these different things that have come and gone now. When the market changes, then they're gone. You know, people always come back to a human being.
Right.
And
Zillow wasn't doing a very good job using an algorithm to figure out value.
and that's an example of what I was saying earlier. Like
Hmm.
um, people who come into these industries from the outside that actually haven't worked, they don't have any experience, and they don't have any business being there. They come in and they try to say like, you know, this is going to be the best thing since sliced bread for the industry or for the consumer, but it ends up backfiring. And you know, there's a couple examples of different companies out there in our market even that have gone through, you know, one company after another, rebrand, you know.
Right.
And you know, if you can use one of these services and sell your home yourself, all the power to you, you know, like that's great. But when shit hits the fan and you need a human being there, they're just not there. And nothing can replace, um, you know, a human, you know. Um, but that is a good segue, I think, and transition into
To
your
my
story.
story.
So
Yeah.
let's get to adventures in real estate with
So,
Denise. As
so
as the banner says.
there we go. Story time.
Story time.
So yeah, a few years ago, I was showing a nice couple houses, and we were we had called one of the companies that you were mentioning that just post on MLS, and had gotten our generic confirmation with very little um, confirmation information, right? You know, lock boxes on the front door. That's about it. And so we had entered the home, and the lights were all out, and which, you know, typically we advise our clients to leave the lights on for showing. So, you know, it's different advice or lack of advice, right?
Mhm.
But anyway, so we had It was a small house. It was just, it's the living room with a couple of bedrooms and bathroom right off the living room, and then, a nice little Elmwood house. And so we had, gone through the front bedroom and then back into the living room, and we were going to go into the bathroom, but the bathroom door was left kind of closed, and it was a sliding door. And my client was in front of me, and he's like tugging on it a little bit, and it doesn't want to move. And it was opened a little tiny bit. So he like squeezed himself through to go the other side, and just, he was gone. And I'm like, I think his wife was kind of in front of me. So I was like, oh my God, where'd he go?
Like a portal? like he
just disappeared. And I'm like, what the heck? So I finally get this door open, and he's in the crawl space, because they had left the crawl space door open.
Like the hatch door.
The hatch, yeah.
Oh
and
God.
It was inside the dark bathroom with no light on, with the door mostly closed.
Wow.
So very dangerous situation. Anyway, and I guess the stairs actually come down from the tub side, not from our side. So he actually fell onto the stairs. And so that part was very scary. I laugh now because I think back to it like it was like a cartoon, like, like the Roadrunner just like falls straight down.
Yeah. Like a booby trap.
Yeah. And so yeah, I can laugh now because I know he's okay and he healed fine and all that stuff. But at the moment, it was pretty scary because he just like disappeared, and we're talking like a 70-plus-year-old man, right? So like it was very scary at the time. And then so we got him out of there and got him onto the couch, and I was trying to find ice packs in their freezer to, and we're trying to determine, if he's okay. But it seemed like he did dislocate his shoulder, and it seemed like it was just here that he was hurt and whatnot. And then I'm trying to call now. Okay, so who do I call? Because there's not a realtor's name on the sign to call, right? Like it's a 1-800 number. And so I call, and they have no idea what I'm talking about. And okay, I'm at a showing at one of your listings, and this is the address. And she had no idea what I was talking about when I was talking about the hatch or the crawl space or like that, the access to the basement or any of that stuff, because they don't have them in the province that they live in. And, so it was quite an experience in that regard, because like, okay, they have to have someone call me back. And at this point, I'm just like trying to let them know what happened, because this has happened in someone's house. And this person who owns this house is likely going to be liable for something because this man's hurt. And the other thing we're trying to do is trying to figure out how we're going to get him to the hospital, because his wife doesn't drive and was, with a cane herself and stuff like that. Right. So we had to figure out how we were going to get him there and whatnot. And then, got him to the hospital. Everything worked out. It was all good and everything. But yeah, he had to get a lawyer. He had to put in a claim against these people, against their insurance, because these people were moving from another province, so they didn't have Manitoba Health. They don't have coverage for this injury, right? So now we're talking a lawsuit, right? So if you want to talk about what kind of information, what kind of advice are you getting from your realtor? That is something to think about, is like, what kind of situation am I going to put myself in that could cause liability, right? Yeah. And that's one of them, very many. I mean, this one has nothing to do with paperwork, because usually we talk about the paperwork when we talk about liability in real estate. But this is just someone being on your property. Yeah, injury on your property. And so yeah, I definitely was a crazy afternoon, and had to cancel the rest of our showings, obviously. But he ended up being okay, and he was a spry guy, so he healed quickly, and had a few physiotherapy trips, and then he.
So just to clarify, this was a listing that was active on the MLS.
Yes.
That was available for realtors to bring their clients through and show.
Yeah.
But it was through one of these companies where you pay a fee to have your listing up.
Yeah.
But there's no real
But there's no
realtor,
direct contact with
no
the
listing
seller
agent. No, it's
or
just
the seller. Like
or the
I
seller.
couldn't even call the seller to talk to the seller directly. I had to call a 1-800 number
Yeah.
and
Get
wait
the
for
runaround.
someone to call us back, and they didn't call us back for 2 days.
Yeah, see, that's that's like my chapters example.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. 2 days it took them to call us back, and that meant the seller didn't know what happened in their house for
Yeah.
2 days.
Yeah.
They
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So had there been a listing agent that was confirming showings and dealing direct, if a buyer's agent and their clients had gone through the property and they fell into a hole, would at least bare minimum the insurance that the listing brokerage has or the listing agent has, would that have helped to protect?
Possibly, but there would also be the more likelihood that a listing agent would have given the seller good advice on how to leave the house.
Yeah,
Leave
exactly.
the house with the lights on.
Biggest thing.
Don't leave the hatch open. Or if you are going to leave the hatch wide open, we're going to put it in the realtor comments when we're confirming the appointment so that everyone knows. Or we're going to put a sign on that bathroom door.
Yeah.
Or, right? Like you're going to do something to
Yeah.
mitigate the liability.
Yeah.
You're not going to leave it with the door partway closed, the lights out, and the hatch open. It was a comedy of errors.
The reality is that like some of these old houses, they were built with really funky ways and
Absolutely.
like means of construction. And, you know, they, I have been in plenty of those houses, you know, West Kildonan, even
All
like
over.
older parts of East Kildonan, North End,
Yeah.
Elmwood,
St.
like
Boniface, yeah.
St. Boniface.
Right, yeah.
You had a part basement, chances are you got either a sketchy staircase going down there or a ladder or a hatch in the floor. And usually that hatch is like in the bathroom.
It's often in the bathroom or in the middle of the back porch, right?
Yeah.
Where, I mean, if you come in from the back, I had one not too long ago where if you had come in from the back door, it literally would have been right in front of the back door, right? Like, so had you left it open, you would fall in as soon as you walked in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not
that's
going to leave that open. Mm-hmm.
No, it's, I mean, yeah, but that's a great example of like, you know, I recently, you know, not to go on a tangent here about these mere posting companies, but recently showed a property, first time home buyers, you know, my clients, we booked the showing through, you have to like, you can't book it through the normal way that we would book a listing or a showing on a listing that's advertised on the MLS. Normally we have our own way of doing that, which is super easy and super functional and like great. No, you have to like copy and paste a link, and then you have to input your contact information as the realtor, and then you have to book that, and then that request goes to the seller, and then you get the notification that you can show it. But then God forbid you have a question about the property.
Yeah.
Like you said, it takes days sometimes to get answers back because it's got to go through all these different channels of people.
Yeah.
Versus if I'm the listing agent, my cell number is on that listing. You phone me, text me, whatever, email, I'm going to get back to you immediately. You know, there's none of this running around. Like, I think that these companies, again, not to poo-poo on them, but they don't realize that adding all of these extra steps doesn't make it easier to sell a house. Like, when you're selling a house, you want to make it as easy as possible for somebody to come in there, fall in love with it, write an offer, not fall in a hole. Like, you don't want to make it harder for the sellers, you know? And I'm sure if I even at least if I had the seller's contact information, and these are not hard questions I'm asking, it's like, do you have a property disclosure statement that you filled out that you could send me?
Yeah.
What can you tell me about the property? What's the story with it? You know, why are you selling? Where are you going? You know, like, I know some of those answers they don't have to. There's some of those questions they don't have to answer. But like, you want to sell it? I have buyers that want to buy it. Don't make it any harder than it has to be. Just and I find like these companies, that's what they do. They make it way harder than it has to be, and then people get frustrated. Buyers are like, "What do you mean what do you mean I can't get the answer? I gotta wait 2 days. What do you mean I'm gonna fall in a hole and like I have no recourse?"
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, that's a great example. But yeah, no, it's a good story. I haven't had anybody. I don't think I've had anybody get hurt, like a client or anything, get hurt at a property, fall in anything. But I've had people step in dog poops outside in their sock feet because they think that it's a good idea to like go, oh, let's just check out the backyard quick, and then they open
Been
the
there,
door.
done that.
They don't want to bring their shoes to the back door, so they go outside and then
in their shoes and accidentally step in something.
Oh,
Although
yeah.
I've also stepped in cat puke in the house. So
Yeah, that's true. I have speaking of cats, next week I got a really good cat story. So
you have a good cat story?
Yeah.
The week after I will tell my bad cat story.
Okay. I'll tell my good cat story. You tell your bad cat story. So, all right. So next on the agenda here is our topic of the week. And this week I wanted to talk about condos. To condo or not to condo. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because with the rising interest rates, we're moving into an age of affordability. And, when buyers are out there looking, especially first-time buyers, starting to consider maybe purchasing a condo where they haven't otherwise before, because, you can still pick up a pretty affordable condo in our market here.
Yeah.
And I have a first-time home buyer. She's in the process of wanting to purchase something, and she's been renting for a while. And she asked me, do you think it would be a good idea for me to buy a condo or should I buy a house? And that's a pretty loaded question. But it kind of got me thinking about that. And so I think the one thing that I told her is I said, it's really going to come down to a few things. Biggest thing is, what is your lifestyle? And think about where you're going to be, in 5 years from now. Are you going to have the same lifestyle? So what I mean by that is, do you have a career that, do you have a busy lifestyle where you're gone a lot, you work a lot, you don't have time for cutting the grass, you don't have time for shoveling the snow, you don't have time for the regular maintenance that comes with a house. So in her case, like she works, she's got she's very passionate about her career. So she works a lot. She's gone a lot. And then in her off time, she, does a lot of community stuff. So she's volunteering her off time. And, so for somebody like her, I think that a condo could be a great option. But I also told her the thing with condos is it's a totally different animal. It's a different beast, than the single family home market. Now, condos can be many things. So I think for the purposes of this, what I mean by condo is like your traditional apartment style condo. Like you buy like the four walls, a unit in a giant building or like a larger complex, right? With multiple people, rather than, condos can be bare land. We see that where people build like a single family home on a bare land condo and you pay a small fee for snow removal and lawn care. That's not what I mean. What I mean is like an apartment style. And when I say versus single family home, I mean like a house on a residential street or a townhouse or a side by side. And so, I told her, think about your lifestyle carefully. And do you think you would enjoy doing yard maintenance? And she doesn't do any of that where she is now. So, but basically, like, I think it's a dilemma that a lot of people try to contend with. Like, they try to, okay, what makes more sense for me? And for a lot of people, it's like, well, what's a better investment, and like, what's going to be better for me as an investment long term, and what's going to have a better value later on, when it comes time to sell. So, and that's a pretty loaded question too, because the other thing that I told her was, condos are, there's so many moving parts with a condo, right? You're not just buying it and then you take possession and it's like, oh, this is great. You're also purchasing a very small percentage of the entire, like, included in that price that you pay is a very small percentage of the ownership of the entire project. So if you got a 30 unit condo project, or 60 unit, or you name it, 100 unit, you are like 0.203% or whatever it is, owner of the entire project. So right. There are other things that you really need to dig into and look at, before you close on a condo. You got to make sure the books look good. So condos are going to have financial documents. They have usually like a CFO basically on the board that handles all of the ins and incoming income, and then what goes out expenses. You need to have access to those books and see what the budget looks like and where is all this money going. You also need to take into consideration the age of the building or the project, and look at, the
condition of all the amenities, like the pool and the parking
lot.
Yeah,
like having that big parking lot, having that pool, having that tennis court. Those are all great things, and they can be huge selling features. But what happens when the pool liner goes? Mm-hmm. What happens when, the tennis court needs to be redone? What happens when the parking lot needs to be redone? What happens when the roof on the building needs to be redone? Where is that going to come out of? And a lot of people, they think that, oh, the property manager will just take care of it, like you were saying.
Yeah.
But that's not the case, right?
Oh, they will take care of it, but it comes out of your pocket.
Yeah. All of these decisions as to, whether or not something should be repaired, everything has to come down to a vote, right?
Right.
It needs to be like majority vote. So it's like, okay, everybody here is complaining about the parking lot and how many potholes there are. Mm-hmm. So here's the solution. We can get it fixed, or we can leave it for now. If we get it fixed, that's going to cost X amount. We're going to have to get quotes from companies to come in and give us, tell us how much it's going to cost. And then we will decide from there. But if it's going to cost money, where does that money come out of? Right.
Right. Anything over 3,000 can come out of the reserve fund.
Yeah.
But if it's too much for the reserve fund, you might actually have to do, a cash call, exactly, which everyone loves.
And then ultimately, whatever comes out of the reserve should be replenished. So how do you replenish a bare reserve or a down reserve? You increase the condo fees for a certain amount of time to replenish that reserve. So there's a lot of thought that has to come into play when you're buying a condo. Now, not trying to disparage condos by any means, because I do think that for the right person, they make a lot of sense.
Yeah, and there's tons of pros. Yeah.
Tons of pros. But you just have to really, it comes down to, if you see a condo on the market and you're like, wow, this has a beautiful kitchen and this has, the bathroom's all renovated. So those are things that I don't have to worry about, versus a house for the same price. It's probably going to be a little bit dated. It's going to be rougher, might not be in the area that you want. But you got to look past that brand new kitchen and that brand new bathroom. That's the unit itself that you're going to be living in. But you also have to look at the entire project as well. Mm-hmm. So, I had a lady client who years ago, she phoned me, she was referred to me, and she needed to sell her townhouse condo. She bought this thing brand new. was built in like 1978 on St. Anne's Road. So she loved this thing. It was such a great unit. And right before we went to list it, I asked her if she could provide me with whatever condo documents she had, and just so that I could like go through them with her. And she didn't have a lot of stuff, but she had a lot of the notices that were coming in from the property management company as it pertained to repairs that were coming down the road.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a townhouse complex, 4 units per townhouse, and there were probably 6 or 8 buildings of 6 units or 8 units, whatever it was. And the build, like her unit was fine, everything was tickety boo, was great, but the building right next to hers required significant foundation repair. Like they had a horizontal crack, all the units were experiencing the same issue in their basement.
Wow.
Water was coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a company that came out, an engineering firm, and they told them you need underpinning of the foundation, so they drill piles underneath to stop it from shifting. Then we need to fix the crack. We got to do, vertical bracing on the inside, waterproof it, and this is a big building, a lot of square footage of wall that needed to be fixed. And it was going to cost her, and
but the benefit of the condo is that person who lives in the building who has the crack has shared expense.
Right.
So it goes both ways.
It goes both ways. Yeah. So you kind of, if you're thinking about buying a condo, you just have to kind of like think, like try not to compare it to housing, because single family homes, because it's a different animal altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Now, from a investment point of view, and this is just my opinion and my experience, the condo market is a little bit slower, and history has shown us that it's always kind of been behind the detached market. And it's only because there's more buyers that are looking for a single family home in general than condos. And so from an investment point of view, if you can get into a great building, a great unit, and let's say you pay $180,000 for a condo, 2-bedroom condo, 2-bed, 1-bath, or whatever it is. Let's say you buy it for $180,000. In 5 years from now, when you decide that you want to sell and move to something else, you may only get $180,000. Maybe you'll get $190,000, versus if you purchase a single family home and houses are selling around you and people are, maintaining the look and the economic life of that street, it's going to help it's like the rising tide that lifts all boats when it comes to value. It's going to help to increase your market value by you not doing a single thing. So it's called natural market appreciation. And so as the market,
I would say not doing a single thing improvement wise, but maintaining
it. Yeah. Like you wouldn't have to necessarily upgrade,
mm-hmm.
but if you just maintained it, cut your grass and like did all the things you need to do as a homeowner, like, just by you doing that kind of stuff and living there, chances are your value is going to go up, just as our market goes up. Versus condos a little bit, there's a smaller demographic that's looking for a condo. So it's not going to appreciate naturally as quickly as a single family home. The other thing to consider too with a condo is that, like, with a single family home, you have forced appreciation. So you can force appreciation by making upgrades, cosmetic, otherwise, you could build a fence, you could, do a lot of work yourself.
Finish the basement.
Finish the basement. Condo, you're kind of limited. Like you can't really say, I want to paint the exterior of the building black, because that's what's in right now. You can't really do that.
Not without getting all your neighbors on board.
Yeah. Interior renovations and upgrades you can certainly do, but you do have to most of the time you have to request permission, especially if you're in that apartment style condo, because whatever you do, if you're replacing a kitchen and you're redoing plumbing, or if you're adding electrical outlets or fixtures, Well, now, because you're connected to everybody else, it can impact, if something goes wrong, if you hire the wrong trade, or if you do it yourself, it can impact everybody else. If you have a water leak in your unit, well, you know, Betty 2 floors down might get the same leak in her unit, right? So you don't, you know, you have to get permission from the board when it comes to stuff. But
yeah, I like to add flooring to that, especially in the apartment style, because I have seen where someone didn't get permission to replace flooring and they put the wrong underlay, and it created a lot of noise for the people beyond
noise
below
transfer.
them.
Yeah.
So yeah, flooring is a big one that also needs, and that is another thing to know about condos is there are rules, and that would typically be one of the standard rules in all condos is permission for.
Yeah.
And there could be other rules that you might have to live with, and if you're not a personality that can compromise, then a condo is probably not a good option.
Yeah, no, it's condos are a totally different beast. But you know, if I was a single guy, just knowing my lifestyle, my work schedule, I would be totally cool with a condo.
Yeah, I could see myself living in a condo, but I couldn't see my husband ever living in a condo.
Yeah. But then I also like, you know, I like having a yard. I like, you know, I love having I can't imagine my life without a dog, like a dog that I can let outside and be free and run around and roam around. Right. So it's, but you know, could see both ways, but definitely for that, like professional who's works a lot, whether it's from home or you go to the office. And if you're somebody who just wants to, like, I just want to turn the key, I want to come home, I want to, you know, make food, watch TV, you know, you can do that. You don't have to worry about like, oh crap, I got to go shovel my freaking walkway, or, you know, I got to go fix my garage door or whatever, you know. So there's pros and cons.
Absolutely. And that's why we like to sit down with our buyers and discuss the pros and cons directly with each one and help them determine if they're a condo person or not.
Yeah. But our job too is like, if you are a condo person, we're not just looking at the freaking kitchen and the, wow, this is beautiful. Like we're looking at the full package. What's that project? What's that condo corporation like? What do the books look like? You know, are there any big ticket repairs that are coming down the pipe that we should know about now? Because in 2 years from now, that thing could drain the reserve, you know?
Right.
So, but yeah, it's, there's pros and cons to both for sure.
Absolutely.
So yeah, always love talking about that kind of stuff. And the last thing on the list is giving flowers.
Yes.
So for me this week, actually you go first. I went first last time.
It doesn't matter, but okay. My first one actually isn't a business. It is the Elmwood Community Resource Center. And I picked them because they do so much for the community, and not just Elmwood, like the surrounding areas and everything, right? So they have lots of programs, and I'm sorry, I'm going to read a little bit because I can't always remember everything that they do because they do so much.
Yeah, no problem.
You know, they have counseling and crisis intervention and job search support and basic needs support and family programs and after school programs and parenting programs and settlement support and programming. Men's programs, parenting programs. I think I said parenting programs already. There's just so many programs, right? Like there's so much support there. If you know anyone that's struggling with pretty much anything, mental health wise, job wise, parenting wise, anything, I'm sure someone at ECRC can help. And they're just a really awesome place and resource. They have, you know, babysitting. So if you are wanting to attend one of the events or groups or any of those things, they often have childcare and stuff like that. Yeah. So I just wanted to give them a shout out because they do amazing stuff there. And my other one is R&R Family Restaurant.
R&R.
R&R.
Oh yeah.
So all the old Perkins are now locally owned and operated and under the name R&R Family Restaurant. And they're not like fancy places or anything, but it's a nice local. They support a lot of other local businesses, like their coffees from Nagash and Niverville, and
Oh, cool.
their baking, I think, was Grenthal Bakery. And I know that they have like local pierogies and local meat and
Huh.
Manitoba fish. And so it's a nice little, mostly seniors when you go in there. And if you get there in between the 8 and 10 a.m., it's the 8:50 classic breakfast.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's
Nice
beauty.
cheap breakfast.
Yeah.
That's why it's always loaded with seniors.
Yeah.
And,
I grew up with that kind of like not really diner style, but like I
yeah.
grew up with that kind of stuff and going to restaurants like that. And yeah, you can't beat it.
No, it's awesome. It's so awesome. And yeah, they have a pretty good menu. Like we often go for brunch, I'll say. So, I'll kind of go between having breakfast and having lunch when we go. And
Mhm.
there's always something good to try. Their pick roll's actually really good.
Cool.
Yeah. And and their classic breakfast can come with pancakes instead of just toast.
Nice. Well, we need to go there for
Mhm.
brunch or lunch sometime.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I just thought I'd shout them out because the waitresses there always do a great job of serving us.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
Cool. So mine this week, I've got two. First one is my buddy Jared Holmes. He is a financial planner. He has his own business called Unaffiliated Wealth, and he's helped me tremendously. Just get on track with finances. It's so easy as like a self-employed person to have your finances take control of you and like not have control of them, but they take control of you.
Hmm.
And in life, there's two things you can't avoid: death and taxes, right? So any way that you can, at least help to shelter some of that tax burden as a self-employed person, especially realtor. But also, like, he's so knowledgeable when it comes to things like investing and just giving, basically act as like your CFO in a way. He'll look at everything like under the hood and give you his honest recommendations, and you can take his advice or you cannot. And I can tell you that by taking his advice, it's been the best thing I ever did. And he's just such a honest, smart, probably one of the most intelligent people that I know when it comes to finances. And his name, the company name, Unaffiliated Wealth, the meaning behind that is there are a lot of financial planners in the industry that are affiliated with a large company. And I won't name any names, but I'm sure we can all picture them in our minds. And their job is to sell products and services to the consumer, to the customer, that company carries. They oftentimes don't have to be transparent about the fees that they collect, how much they're making on selling you that product or that service. And whereas Jarrett, he's not affiliated with any of these companies. So he is kind of like almost like a broker in a way, where he can help you make the best decision for you and your situation rather than trying to shove a product down your throat that some of these guys, they know full well this is not good for this person. I should not be selling this, but I have to make a quota, or I have to make commission, or I have to do this, or I have to do that for the company. And yeah, and he's
Yeah.
yeah, and he's doing a great job for a lot of people, and specializes in working with realtors. So anybody out there, you're thinking about getting, having somebody take a look under the hood and see how you can structure, organize your finances a little bit better and get you on track, at least get you out of the hair of CRA. Because sometimes you get these letters from CRA as a self-employed person and you're like, oh my God, like first of all, CRA is notorious at using the most hideous, terrifying font that you'll ever see. And it's like, oh my God, am I going to jail? And it's like, no. They're just telling you that, you need to make your GST remittance. But it's like, when you read these things, it's like, first of all, how do I read this? And like, it's so terrifying every time you get a letter in the mail. But he's great at like demystifying it all. And he got us set up with like the best accountant that I could not ask for a better accountant. And maybe I'll give him a shout out in one of the future videos. I'd love to have these guys on the pod too. I think they're just great. And my second shout out this week is, I know I've probably shouted them out before, just in some of the Business of the Week posts, but Iron Image Barbell Club. So I've made it like my New Year's resolution to get my ass in the gym and, lift things up and put them down. And, Iron Image Gym, I live in East St. Paul. Iron Image Gym is located in Selkirk. And it's run by like great people. One of whom is a former realtor, Matt Evans. And what they did to this space over the years is just insane. It's the most, like, I'm sure this is like a guy thing to call a gym beautiful, but it's a beautiful gym. Like, it has everything that anybody could ask for. It's got like powerlifting. They call it the strongest gym in the Interlake, but it's, they have powerlifting competitions there. So they have all the proper racks and barbells, all the proper plates, bumper plates and stuff like that for powerlifting. They have sled push section. They have battle ropes. They have kettlebells. They have all the cardio equipment. They have like some of the best workout equipment, free weight section. They have a boxing area. They have like a whole nother section to the gym now where they have cycle classes, yoga, all that kind of stuff. High intensity training, like HIIT cardio classes. I just love it there. I could literally spend my whole day there because it's so fun. The people are so friendly. And the best part is they're not going to hold you hostage to a piece of paper like some of these other gyms, like for me, the travel time from East St. Paul to go to Selkirk is the same as if I was to go to Good Life on Nairn, just with traffic and everything. So, and I, God forbid I wanted to go on a vacation and put my account on hold, they would be like losing their minds over a Good Life. Versus Iron Image, you want to put your account on hold? No worries. Want to cancel? There's no membership. You just, whatever. 24-hour access. It's awesome. A great place. I love it there. And I can't wait to spend more of my time there. So if anybody's looking for a good gym, you live in the north side, check out Iron Image in Selkirk. It's definitely worth visiting for sure. So I think that concludes today's episode.
Sounds good.
Whoop, whoop. Right on. Okay, well, thanks so much again for checking out this episode. And hopefully there wasn't too much rambling or waffling, but that's what this is all about, just to have, shoot the shit, have conversation.
Have fun.
Have fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, thanks guys for checking it out. And please, I keep forgetting to say this in the beginning, but please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps us out. And look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. Hope you have an awesome weekend, and great week.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.